You see the headlines all the time. Rovers on Mars, samples from the far side of the moon, and even China's very own space station orbiting right above us. It's one of the most active and ambitious space programs in the world. But have you ever wondered how it all actually works? Like, who's in charge? Who builds the rockets? And how does a big idea become a real-life launch? Well, let's dive in and figure it out.
To really get it, you have to start here. At the very heart of the program is this powerful national vision. This quote from President Xi Jinping, it isn't just a nice-sounding slogan. It's basically the mission statement for what's officially called the space dream. And it's a huge part of the country's long-term identity for the 21st century.
So, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at that space dream. Then, we'll figure out who actually runs the program. We'll trace a mission all the way from blueprint to launch, understand why it's so important, and finally, we'll look at the big picture of this rising space power. Okay, first things first. It is absolutely crucial to understand that China's space program isn't just about cool science and fancy technology. No, it's a central piece of a much, much larger national vision.
And that vision is the space dream, or Taikonmeng. The goal here is crystal clear: become a world-leading space power by the year 2049. This isn't some side project, It's a foundational goal designed to weave space capabilities directly into the fabric of the nation's economy, its security, and its global standing.
So how in the world is an undertaking this massive even organized? Well, it's pretty different from a centralized agency like NASA. China uses this unique trilateral structure, splitting responsibilities across a few different key governing bodies.
Which, of course, brings us to the key question: who is actually running the show? The answer isn't one single person or agency. Instead, it's more like a carefully balanced trio of organizations all working together.
Okay, now check this out, because this is where it gets really interesting. This is how the duties are divided. First up, you have the CNSA, the China National Space Administration. They're kind of the public face of the program. They handle all the robotic missions, the Mars and Moon rovers, and they manage all the international cooperation. Then there's the CNSA, the China Manned Space Agency. Their job is super specific. They focus exclusively on human spaceflight. That means the Shenzhou astronauts and the Tiangong space station. And finally, you have the Chinese Academy of Sciences, or CAS. They're like the science brains of the operation, developing all the amazing instruments and experiments that fly on these missions.
But here's a really key distinction to make. Those agencies we just talked about, they're the architects. The builders are a whole different story. The actual hardware, the rockets, the capsules, the space stations, that's all built by these colossal state-owned corporations. The two absolute giants are CASC, which builds the famous Long March rockets, and Shenzhou spacecraft, and then CASIC, which is more defense-focused but also builds solid-fuel rockets. These are the industrial titans that turn all those blueprints into reality.
So we know who plans things and who builds things. But how does a high-level national goal actually become a real rocket sitting on a launch pad? Let's trace that path from blueprint all the way to liftoff. The process is remarkably methodical and very long-term.
It really all starts with central planning. Major space objectives are literally written into the country's national 5-year plans. From there, giant corporations like CASC get the assignment to go design and build the technology, and finally, the mission blasts off from one of China's highly specialized launch centers. See, it's a very clear, top-down process.
And if you want to see that long-term vision in action, this timeline is the perfect example. The manned space program, which was laid out way back in 1992, followed the super deliberate 3-step strategy. Step 1, get an astronaut to orbit and back. Done. Step 2, master complex skills like spacewalks and docking. Done. And Step 3, which was completed in 2022, build the Tiangong space station. Done. What this really shows is just a remarkable commitment to methodical planning. I mean, this was a 30-year vision, executed patiently, step by step. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
And the results of that long-term focus? Well, they are literally groundbreaking. Just imagine the incredible precision required to land a probe on the moon, scoop up almost 2 kilograms of precious rock and dust, and then fly it all the way back to Earth. The Chang'e 5 mission did exactly that. It was a massive technological achievement that delivered a huge scientific prize for deep space exploration.
Of course, all these incredible missions need a place to lift off from. And for that, China has built a really strategic network of 4 major spaceports, each one serving a very distinct purpose.
You can think of these as 4 specialized gateways to space, and each one was chosen specifically for its geography. Jiuquan, out in the Gobi Desert, is the historic heart of the program, and it's the only place they launch human missions from. Taiwan is at a high altitude, which is perfect for satellites that need a polar orbit.
Xichang handles communication satellites heading way out to geostationary orbit. And then there's the newest one, Wenchang, which is right on the coast. Being near the equator gives rockets an extra speed boost from the Earth's rotation, which is absolutely vital for launching heavy payloads like modules for the space station.
So, with all of this massive investment and incredible effort, we have to ask the question, why? Why does the space program matter so much? Well, the impact goes way beyond just launching rockets.
What's really crucial to understand is that the program serves multiple national goals all at the same time. It's a powerful engine for scientific discovery, it's a huge driver of economic growth in high-tech commercial sectors, it's a key component of national security, and it's a really important tool for international diplomacy and collaboration.
And on that diplomacy front, this isn't just talk. China is actively engaged in space cooperation. It's signed agreements with numerous countries and organizations, working on joint projects like the International Lunar Research Station and sharing valuable data from its Earth observation satellites.
All right, let's zoom out and put all the pieces together. To really understand the big picture, we have to look at the program's underlying philosophy and just quickly recap how it all functions. Now, a key concept that you'll see in official documents is military-civil fusion. This is a national strategy, and it's designed to break down the walls between civilian research and military research. The stated goal is to make sure that technological breakthroughs in any sector, space included, can be shared and used across the board to boost the overall national capability.
All right, let's pull it all together one last time. So, what have we learned? China's space program is propelled by a massive national vision called the Space Dream. It's managed by that unique three-agency structure. The rockets themselves are built by industrial giants, launches happen from 4 specialized sites, and the goals are a blend of science, economics, and global diplomacy.
So, in the end, this methodical, state-driven, and multifaceted model is a really distinct path into space. And it leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to think about. As all of humanity pushes further into the cosmos, how will this highly structured approach to space exploration shape the next chapter of our shared future among the stars?